Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our webinar on IP performance for the month of October. Yeah, the topics that we will be covering today, we will be covering certain important topics, understanding October trends, because there were some major events that happened in the month of October. So we will be looking at the how the cough and cold market has behaved in light of the unwanted incidences in the cough syrup market that have happened in the last few months. We will also be looking at the trends in the ORS market, especially wherein the word ORS to be used has been, there are restrictions in using this word in light of, the formula or non-compliance with the formula in the pack. And also the most interesting thing that everybody is now rigorously following up is the trends in the anti-obesity market. We did a little more deep dive analysis on how the products are picking in what pockets of the cities. We have just taken Mumbai city, but then some understanding of how the products are gradually picking up in the market. Of course, we have our regular section on IPM therapy performance, the growth drivers, the top 40 corporates, the top 40 brands, summarizing the entire session. And we have a curtain raiser to our next topic, which we will be conducting in the month of November, gray matters, a slight precursor, a curtain raiser to this topic. So let us first look into the October trends for the cough and cold market. So we used to get a lot of queries on how the cough and cold market is behaving. Is the sales going down? So it's like the sales going up and sales going down, especially for this therapy. It depends upon the seasonality. It's just because a news comes in the market, the sales going down. I cannot essentially correlate it to that. So what we have done is we have looked at the long-term trend of the cough and cold market. So if you see, typically the cough and cold market is a seasonal market where the market picks up in the monsoon season and it gradually declines after the winter season. So if I were to look at the seasonality of the market, the trends are more or less in line with the seasonality. And since we had to compare against the previous month, has the sale increased or declined? We have taken the 2 month sales, September and October sales for the last 4 years, this year and the last 3 years, and looked at the comparison of does the sales actually increase every year, or is the phenomena different in this year. So what we have seen in the previous years for the month of October, if I were to compare the sales of September and October, in the month of October every year, in the last 2 years, the sales has increased. Okay, but then what we are seeing over here in the month of October as compared to the September, the sales is showing a slight decline. Now, whether this decline is because of the news was predominantly on the liquid syrups market. So what we have done is we have also looked at the oral syrups as well as the solids market. How does the trend look in both the markets? But even before going to that, if you see, the typical seasonality indicates that from the month of say July, August onwards, the sales moves up, and to a great extent, it has stayed as per that trend line. Also, if I were to compare the sales as compared to last year, as compared to same time last year, the sales for the month of October has been on a slightly higher side. It is not lesser than what it had sold same time last year. This also indicates that it is a seasonal disease trend which leads to this type of demand. Then what we have done is we have showing you two graphs over here. This graph, the first one is the same which I had in the previous slide. And in this, we have split the graph into solids and liquids. It is essentially to see both of them separately because liquids contribute to almost more than 25% of the cough and cold market in terms of value. So if you were to look in terms of liquids, every year from the month of September to month of October, the sales of liquids increases. Over here, the sales of liquids has shown a slight decline as compared to the month of September. However, if I were to look at the consumption of liquids as compared to same time last year, the consumption has definitely increased. So if there are cases of cough and cold which require a syrup to be consumed, that consumption is definitely going to happen. Now, it may be certain brands, the usage of certain brands that may have shifted, or people would be probably now focusing more only on the reliable bigger brands than the smaller brands. That we have happened in the market, but the consumption is in line with the disease pattern. Okay. Then we go to the next, which is the oral rehydration solutions market, because in the last few weeks, there was a lot of discussion on what has to be used. The ORS word should be used for a particular formula. It is banned on certain formulations. So we try to look at the ORS market trend in a similar way, because again, when it comes to ORS, it has this seasonal pattern which starts from the month of summers. If you see, typically, summer seasons start from the month of March. So ORS sales also starts picking up from the month of March onwards. Now, summer season may prepone, postpone. Depending upon that, the ORS season will start. And the oral rehydration solutions market, it peaks up in the month of March, and March because of the heat and heat related ailments. And it continues even in the monsoon season, because typically monsoon diseases like cholera, diarrhea, dysentery also require usage of ORS solutions. So if you see typically demand of these products in the market, it is more or less in line with the market trends. Also, if you see as compared to the sales which was seen in the month of September, the sales in the month of October has actually increased. It has not declined. However, if I were to look at the absolute quantum of units in comparison to same time last year, as compared to October 24, the unit consumption is relatively lesser. However, as compared to September 25, the unit consumption is on a slightly higher side. Then we go to the next topic. We look at the trends in the anti-obesity market. Over here, we have looked at the trends in the oral solids market, and we have also looked at the trends in the injectables market. Also, this time we did a little more deeper analysis on, we have just taken one city as an example on how different in different pockets of the cities, how the consumption trends looks, and what may be leading to this type of consumption trends. So first, let us look at the overall trends. So first, we are looking at the Ribelsis, which is the oral solids market in the anti-obesity segment. So since the time of launch, this product has actually gained good amount of traction. The sales stabilized post November. The peak sales was somewhere in the month of November, after which we saw a good amount of stability. And it is at this point of time from March 25 onwards that injectables started coming into the market. And it is probably because of that that the sales over here has started seeing some impact. Of course, now oral solids tablets are there. Probably, again, this is what numbers are telling me, and I'm discussing about what numbers talk about in the market. So it is possible that the new patient onboarding that may have happened, may have shifted to the injectables market. Then on this, we are also superimposing the injectables which have come, the Wegovy and the Mounjaro. So what I have done, even before looking at these numbers, uh, both of these products are available in the pre-filled syringe today. However, when Mounjaro was launched initially, it was in the form of vials. Now, one pre-filled syringe has got 4 doses. To have a like-to-like comparison, what I have done is I have converted the pre-filled syringes into doses. So now this comparison is absolutely like-to-like. So if I were to look at the number of doses that are getting consumed for Mounjaro, it is almost 10 times that of Wegovy today. So over here it is 26,000, whereas over here it is 262,000. Now, vials, coming in vials, and Wegovy definitely had the advantage of pre-filled syringe, but Mounjaro also could immediately shift the patients from vials to pre-filled syringes. This is what we can see in this graph. At this point of time, pre-filled syringes were launched over here, and if you see within a month, the vials, the injectables or the single dose injections came down significantly, and everyone was, or a good extent of patients were converted to vials. So this conversion was managed pretty well by Mounjaro. Then what we also try to look at, since this pickup is happening, we thought about looking at little demographic nature of the city. Now, since I am from Mumbai and probably understand the demographic nature of Mumbai city better than any other city, I have taken Mumbai city as an example to look at how are the different pockets within Mumbai city consuming Monjaro. Monjaro, Vigovi, and Ribelsis. Because Monjaro seems to be a little more hyped product, we try to look at, how is it happening. So what we are showing you over here is we have pin code level data, wherein at a pin code level, we are able to track the consumption. So we have taken certain clusters within Mumbai city. We have, this does not include Thane or New Bombay. It is just the core Mumbai city, and this core Mumbai city is divided into these 12 clusters. We have looked at the saliency of sales of these three products in Mumbai city itself. Now, if 100 units are being sold of Monjaro, how much percent comes from each of these clusters? So, if you see typically the clusters which are seen over here are typically clusters where affluent people or a celebrity sort of people are staying in these pockets. I also try to superimpose these clusters with the number of the concentration of anti-obesity and weight loss clinics. When I'm talking about weight loss clinics, it is the VLCC or Anjali Mukherjee types weight loss clinics. And we also see a good amount of concentration of these type of clinics in these pockets. So to a great extent, even the ability of the patient to pay, the focus of the clinics in that particular, or the concentration of the clinics, concentration of the doctors treating that ailment in that particular locality has also impacted the sales or consumption that is happening. Because what this is typically a sale which is happening from the retailer. So whatever retailer in that pocket is selling is getting captured in this type of data. So it is the, what to say, in terms of demographics, the paying capacity or the affluency of the population, and as well as the specialist or the weight loss clinics that are present in that locality have to a great extent skewed the consumption of these products within a city. Now, this is about Mumbai city, and Mumbai is a major metro. Now, if this type of phenomena is being seen in a Mumbai metro like Mumbai, I'm sure this may also be replicated in some other metros or a good amount of mega metros like Delhi, Bangalore, Chennai, Hyderabad, etc. So this was about the trend analysis, October trend analysis, that we have looked for the three key events that have happened in the market. Next, we go to our IPM therapy performance. So if I were to look at the IPM therapy performance, the market has shown an excellent growth of close to 9.5% in terms of value and unit growth of around 2%. The therapies which have shown a strong double-digit value as well as unit growth are respiratory, anti-neoplastics, and vaccines. Now, anti-neoplastics over here, it is the MABs which are, it is driving this market, which is skewing the growth of the anti-neoplastics market. And in the next release, November data release, we plan to classify these MABs in the different sections, like, certain MABs which are used for osteoporosis, respiratory conditions. We will be splitting that so that this growth probably will be in a little realistic format, because right now it is getting skewed because of the presence of MABs in this section. Then coming to the growth drivers, for the month of October, all the three levers of growth are positive, which is a very good sign. If I were to break up and look at the growth at a therapy level, you will see that majority of the big therapies are showing a strong volume driven growth, except therapies like gastro and nutritionals and the pain and analgesic segment. Then we look at the top 40 corporates. Almost all or majority of the top corporates are showing, among the rank 1 to 20, are showing an excellent double digit growth. Now these top 20 corporates, they contribute to more than 50% of the IPM. So obviously if they are going to show a double digit growth, even that is going to get reflected in the IPM's growth. Companies like Cipla in among the top 20 players is showing a double digit value as well as unit growth. Then we come to the next 20 companies. Over here also we have got significant number of companies with double digit value growth, and companies like Ajanta Pharma and Corona are showing a double digit value as well as unit growth. Then we come to the top 40 brands. You must have received the industry mailer wherein we have talked about Monjaro moving to the number one position. So yes, Monjaro from Eli Lilly with almost 100 crore sales for the month of October is moved to the number one position. And cumulatively, since the month of launch in March 25, Monjaro is garnered a sales of close to 333 crores in a brief period. Coming to the rest of the brands, Glycomed GP and Augmentin. So Augmentin and Glycomed GP, they stay at the number one and number two position respectively at a MAT level. And for the month, since Mounjaro has moved to the number one position, the ranks have gone down slightly. As far as the growth at a brand level, among the top 1 to 20 brands is considered, Clavam, Thyronorm, Duolin, Telma, Silacar, Manforce and Vidacort. These are the brands which are showing an excellent double-digit value as well as unit growth. Amongst the next brands which fall in the 21 to 40 category, Levipil, Lantus, Brilinta and Dytor, they are showing an excellent value as well as unit growth. To summarize, the IPM has shown an excellent value growth of 9.5% with majority of the therapies and a good number of big companies reflecting this type of positive sentiment. Volume growth stays positive for most of the therapies. And for the month of October, yeah, most of the top players have shown an encouraging value growth. Augmentin and Glycomed GP continue to retain their leadership position at a MAT level. However, Mounjaro becomes the number one brand in the IPM for the month of October, clocking in sales of almost rupees 100 crores for the month and rupees 333 crores since the time of launch in March 25. Now, next coming to our interesting section of IPM Diaries. As you know, IPM Diaries is an initiative from PharmaRack which focuses on strategic areas that drive exponential growth in the Indian pharma market. So far, we have done close to 7 episodes in which we have covered interesting topics like power of mother brand, strategic partnerships in Indian pharma market, evolution of lifestyle diseases and how they have shaped the Indian pharma market, growth levers in the Indian healthcare industry, the Davids and Goliaths of the pharma industry who collectively strengthen the Indian pharma market, role of MNCs in driving the growth of Indian pharma market, and the last topic that we had was biologics and biosimilars changing the canvas of the Indian pharma market. The topic for the month of November is Grey Matters, which is building a future ready health and pharma ecosystem for India's aging population. Why did we select this topic? So if I were to look at how the India's demographics, age demographics of the population is moving, today elderly population contributes to close to 10% of the India's population, which will almost double. It moves to 10, from 10% to more than 20% in the next 2 decades. Grey Matters addresses the demographic shift shaping India's healthcare demand and pharma innovation. So we will be having this webinar on 20th November, which is a Thursday at 10:30 a.m. We will be sharing the link to this webinar soon. In case you have missed any of the earlier 7 episodes, you can connect with me and we'll make sure that you have access to these episodes. Thank you very much for joining us today and have a great weekend. Thank you so much.